The gathering darkness slowly envelopes the land as the tower grows in strength. A sense of dread and despair grips the empire. Hearts sink with impending doom, eyes weep with desperation, and fear torments the soul. Though all seems hopeless, the resilient knights prep for battle, sharpening blades, strengthening armor, and staging mock battles to prepare for glory in battle. To protect the king and the motherland is the knight's greatest glory and honor. But as the darkness thickens and evil looms over the land, Azrael will send his minions of darkness forward. A tale as old as time, here the endless cycle goes. The wheel turns, time has no beginning, nor end. In the shadowed realm, a storm brewed as Azrael, the dark mage, prepared for the culmination of his long-plotted revenge against the kingdom. Cloaked in obsidian robes that seemed to absorb the very light around him, he stood atop a craggy precipice, his piercing eyes fixed on the distant silhouette of the castle. The air crackled with dark energy, swirling in tendrils of shadow that coiled around his fingertips like serpents, ready to unleash destruction. With a sinister chant, Azrael summoned his powers. The ground trembled beneath him, and dark clouds gathered, swirling into a tempest. He raised his arms, and from the depths of the earth, a malevolent force surged. The gates of the great city, a formidable barrier forged from enchanted steel, began to shudder violently. A dark pulse emanated from Azrael, and with a thunderous roar, the gates buckled, twisting and breaking as if they were made of paper. They collapsed into a heap of ruin, splintered and smoking, heralding the dark wizard's arrival. As the dust settled, Azrael's minions poured forth wretched creatures born of shadow and despair, twisted into grotesque forms by their master's dark magic. They surged into the city like a tide of darkness, screeching and howling, a cacophony of terror that echoed through the streets. The knights, sworn to protect the kingdom and its ruler, rallied with steel and resolve, their armor glinting against the oppressive gloom. Clad in gleaming plate armor, Sir Cedric, the kingdom's legendary champion of old, led the charge, his sword raised high. For glory, for light against the darkness, for the king, noblest of all. He bellowed, rallying his fellow knights as they formed a shield wall against the encroaching horde. The clash of steel rang out as knights met minions, each swing of a sword igniting hope amid the chaos. Yet, for every knight that struck down a creature, two more emerged from the shadows, relentless and insatiable. Azrael watched from the remnants of the broken gates, a cruel smile playing on his lips. He reveled in the discord, knowing the chaos was part of his grand design. The king, alone in his chambers, was blissfully unaware of the storm that had descended upon his realm. Each moment that passed drew Azrael closer to his goal, the king's demise and the acquisition of a powerful soul. As the battle raged, the dark mage turned his attention inward, feeling the pull of the king's essence. He whispered an incantation, dark and ancient, summoning a tempest of energy that flowed through the city, seeking its target. Shadows twisted into serpentine shapes, slipping through cracks and crevices, homing in on the castle's heart. With each soul claimed by his minions, Azrael felt his power swell. The cries of the fallen knights fueled his dark magic, filling him with an insatiable hunger for more. The knights fought valiantly, but one by one, they fell to the tide of darkness. Their noble blood seeped into the cobblestones, further empowering Azrael and his foul creatures. As the last of the knights fell, Azrael strode forward, the air around him shimmering with dark energy. The castle's inner sanctum lay bare before him, the door to the king's chamber unguarded, a final barrier to the fulfillment of his ambition. He approached, the weight of his dark magic crackling in the air, and pushed the door open with a flick of his wrist. Inside, the king sat upon his throne, his face pale and drawn. Azrael, he gasped, rising to defend himself. Though the fight was already lost, you will not claim my kingdom. Light will protect the hearts of those who fight against such evil darkness. With a sinister laugh, Azrael stepped closer, his presence suffocating. Your reign ends here, old fool. Your soul will feed my power and fortify my dark tower, granting me the immortality I seek. As the king raised his sword in defiance, Azrael unleashed a wave of dark energy, a tendril of shadow that coiled around the king's heart. The light in the king's eyes flickered as he gasped in pain, the life force being siphoned away. With a final, desperate thrust, the king fell, his body crumpling to the ground. In that moment, the dark mage felt the surge of power coursing through him, the king's soul merging with his own. The walls of the castle trembled as Azrael's tower grew stronger, feeding off the essence of its newest captive. Immortality beckoned, the allure of boundless power promising eternal dominance. As the city lay in ruin, and his minions reveled in their victory, Azrael gazed out over the horizon, his heart swelling with dark triumph. The kingdom was his now, and no one would stand against him. The shadows danced in celebration, swirling around their master, as he prepared to weave a new chapter in the dark tapestry of his reign. As the city burned, and the land was ravaged, women, children, and the elderly were smuggled out and brought to safety. They gathered in a hidden pathway into a nearby mountainside. From this shelter for the storm, a counter-attack would be formed in time. Despite the crushing defeat and loss of the legendary king, those knights who survived to fight another day would rally and fight back, taking back the land and dispelling the darkness, God willing. Please like and subscribe for more content like this.